Perfect. So feel free to stop me if you have any questions at any point. I can explain any terms that we use that you might not be familiar with, or if you have additional questions, we can dive deeper into anything. And then when we're done, I'll send you guys everything that we go over on this call as well, so you'll have the actual document.
Sounds good.
So ultimately, FirstClose is a technology company. We tout ourselves as a technology company in the mortgage settlement services field. Our clients are banks and credit unions, and our software processes title work, valuation work, and flood work for any type of first purchase, refinance, home equity, or home improvement loan. We were founded in the year 2000 and are located here in Austin, Texas, but we do process loans in any county in all 50 states. So our clients are nationwide, and our software can order the information that they need anywhere in the country. Our system is also very secured since we're working with banks and credit unions, and they are passing us socials and non-public personal information. We are certified in all of the areas that they need to pass for compliance in order to use our software. These are some of our clients that we can tout as references or users of our system. So these are just some big banks and credit unions using the FirstClose software that are available for reference, that we do have marketing permission to use their names. Feel free to use this in anything. And if you ever need to contact them to get testimonials or include something in the blogs or videos, we can use these clients. And our value prop, this is kind of our main value proposition to these lenders, is that we want to help them reduce their turn time. Reducing turn time is a huge thing in the industry. The faster somebody applies for a loan and can get their money, the happier they are. So our system helps them to significantly reduce their time that it takes to give their borrowers money. We also help them reduce costs. They usually save money switching to the FirstClose system. So it comes back faster and it comes back cheaper to the bank, which they can then pass that cost savings on to their borrowers, and then increase the efficiency. So using our software significantly increases their efficiencies. We do have a case study completed by one of our references. They don't allow us to use their name in this case study, but I do have this PDF that I'll send you guys as well. We can use the data in it at least. And basically when they switched to the FirstClose back in 2016, they reduced their turn time by 12.5 days. And they had a savings of over $113,000 in just a little over a month. So I'll send you guys this as well, just to kind of show you, this is mostly what we're pitching for our value prop.
Hey, this is Lisa. Can I just ask real quick? Oh, I'm sorry.
Sure.
I'm just curious to know, like, when a potential customer or a customer comes to you, what is typically their title? Like, who is your main audience, would you say?
Director of lending or lending manager. Usually director of lending, lending manager, things like that.
Okay. Thank you.
So we will also customize their system. It's very customizable. Every credit union and bank kind of has different underwriting guidelines. So we will develop them a custom software that matches their underwriting guidelines. They all have different compliance and regulations that they have to meet. So we work with them to build their orders the way that they need them. We have a lot of systems integrations. So we do interface with the top banks and credit unions. Their software that they're using to process loans is called a loan origination system. So we are integrated into a lot of the loan origination systems, which gives them access to our software directly in the software they're already in. That way they're not having to log into 2 different softwares. This is a huge, huge thing that makes us even more valuable to them. And then we're integrated with the top national vendors and can also add in additional integrations to whatever systems and vendors that they need. And so that's kind of the technology piece of it. In addition to being the technology, we also act as a vendor manager. So they'll also have a dedicated account manager here at FirstClose that monitors their orders and works with their vendors to complete the data. So we're a technology software, a customizable technology software, and also a vendor manager. So this is really good screen that just kind of shows, this is the traditional process right now. A traditional process, you know, in the industry prior, a bank or a credit union has 3 or more support contacts. They're going to a title company to get the title work. They're going to a flood vendor to get their flood work. And then they're going to different appraisers and valuation companies to get a valuation on the property. This usually means they're logging into different systems, sending emails, sometimes even faxing because appraisers don't have systems. They usually have regional coverage. They're going to have to go to different title companies and different appraisers in every county that they lend in. Average turn time from other companies is about 12 days. Again, logging into 3 different platforms, paying above market cost, and their loans are taking 30 to 40 days to close. So this is kind of the traditional process of what they're doing. With the FirstClose solution, we consolidate all of that into one place. They have one platform that they log into. They have one customer service contact, one billing statement, nationwide coverage in one system. We're getting the data back to them on average of 2.5 days at a lower cost, and then they're able to close their loans in about 14 business days. So this just kind of compares side by side what they're doing right now and what they're going to get when they start using the FirstClose system. So basically, we're going to put, oh, go ahead.
No, you're sort of answering what was going to be my question, which is what are a lot of these financial institutions using previously? But I was also going to ask, what is there like a sweet spot in terms of the size or revenue holdings or anything like that that you guys typically work with in terms of the banks and credit unions that you partner with?
Yes, we usually try to target about 300 million and up, but it usually cuts off around the 2 billion mark. So about 300 million asset size to 2 billion asset size is our main, it's actually our only market. We won't go below that. And the ones over that already have something better than us.
Sure. Well, so they think. But yeah, gotcha.
They usually do. They usually have the big guys have figured out way better stuff than we have.
Gotcha. Well, that's helpful. Thank you.
That was 300 million to 200 billion?
300 million to 2 billion.
2 billion, okay. I was like, just making sure.
Yeah, 2 billion. I don't think we're not quite at the spot to get those yet. We're the mid-size banks and credit unions market. So like a Bank of America, Wells Fargo, those guys are not our guys.
Understood.
Chase,
yep.
Ones like that, the big ones, that's not, we don't get those ones. So basically, we have what's called a FirstClose report and a first look report. The FirstClose report is used on home equities, seconds, refis, basically anything that's not a first purchase. And a FirstClose report is going to give them all major property characteristics, title information, so current mortgages, tax status, judgments, liens, deed and legal, flood cert, and then valuation option of choice. So this is everything that they need to make a lending decision and stay in compliance. We give it to them in one report, in one system, faster and cheaper. And then it kind of goes into all of the different types of title work. I probably won't get into that much detail with you guys. It gets really cumbersome, but there's different title options in the industry. There's different valuation options in the industry. They'll have access to everything that's available industry standard in this one system. So I'll send this to you guys, but I don't think we don't really need you to get that deep into detail for what you're doing for now. And then they have to order a flood cert stating if it's in a flood zone or not. So we're hooked up with all the flood providers, national flood providers. So basically, here's kind of how it works. It is web-based, so firstclose.com, log in. When they log into the system, we aren't a vendor, so a lot of times they'll say, we don't want to switch vendors. It's really big to tout in marketing that we're not trying to switch their vendors, we're trying to consolidate their vendors. So basically, instead of going and logging into a title company site and then logging into a flood company site and then emailing an appraiser, they get it all in here. We can load in their vendors, and we're actually hooked up with most of the vendors anyways. So it's not making them switch. FirstClose is not a vendor. We're a software that consolidates them being able to order from all their vendors in one place. So they'll type in the address. Give us the borrower's information, loan amount, social, loan number, whatever they need to give us. And then for each loan, we're going to load in all of their stuff. So they are ordering appraisals, closing and recording, valuations, document preparation, the flood cert. Basically, these are all the things that they might order on a loan. And as you click on each one, we're going to load in all their vendor options. So under title work, we can load in every type of title work that they might need. You need one type of title work on a first purchase. You need a different title on a home equity. You need a different title on a commercial. And then they may have several title companies that they like to use based on counties or whatever states. So we're going to basically give them access to all the vendors that they need in this one place for their title work, and then their flood work, and then their valuations or appraisals. And then when it's all grouped together, when they place the order, it comes back to them in one system, in one report called that FirstClose report. So then we consolidate everything that normally they're getting it from all these different websites. They're saving these PDFs, so they're going through these emails, and then they're having to put it all together in one system. Our software does all of that for them. We give them a cover page, letting them know what was ordered and if the status is completing or pending or failed. We summarize it all for them in like an easy to read format. And then we give them all of the actual documents in one PDF. So it's one software, one PDF, one customer support contact, one billing statement from vendors of their choice. And that is the overall gist. Simple report. What other questions do you guys feel like you have or you need? I mean, there's a lot of detail, but I don't know. I do have I don't know, I'm sure Lee's given you like our marketing flyers or.
I believe we have
Marketing
some
emails that
collaborative.
she's put together.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think we're going to have another conversation about audience and content delivery and things like that. But Amanda, I did have a quick question related to just the distinction you made about not being another vendor. Is that a hurdle or a challenge that you frequently encounter with, I guess, potential new business in that they think that they would be adding another vendor to the mix, and really you guys are sort of alleviating that issue? Is that something you have to consistently
Every
explain?
time, yeah, they think so. And a lot of these, our market is local credit unions, and usually they have attorneys or title companies or whatever that are their members. So they feel like they have to use that particular vendor or that particular person. Or sometimes even just it's old school. These are good old boys. They like to use their friend Bob down the street. So they think in their mind, I'm not going to use you FirstClose because I want my work to come from Bob. So our hugest thing, and it has to be initially because otherwise they're just going to instantly write us off, is that we can give you Bob in here, but we can also give you everything else. We can give you everything you're getting right now in one software.
Gotcha. Very good to know for our purposes.
Yeah, it's huge in marketing to not make them feel like we're trying to convince them to switch vendors. We're consolidating vendors.
Right.
Now, we do have other vendors. A lot of times they will be open to other vendors. We do switch them sometimes, but that is a huge hurdle that we it's really the only hurdle that we have to overcome. Once they realize that, there's no reason that anybody wouldn't do this.
Okay.
And I did have a question just from navigating your site. And for the services here, you guys have FirstClose report and First Look report. I'd just be interested to hear from you the reasoning behind, and this is more of a technical, I just wanted to know what was behind the reasoning of the FirstClose report and then the First Look report. And it kind of sounds like the same thing. So how do you usually find that people on your site get confused by this, and how do you typically navigate differentiating when they're on your site?
So the FirstClose report is for anything that's not a first purchase. It doesn't work on a first purchase.
Okay.
We developed the First Look report to be for a first purchase, but the industry's not taking it. So we really don't want that. I don't know if anybody's told you about that or given you anything on that. Don't market it. We don't want it out there. It's not ready. Our first attempt failed in the market. So
okay, that's good to know.
First Look, if they've given you anything, we're trying to get into the first purchase market, but it's not really there yet.
Okay.
So most people won't have this. It's just something that we're trying to do.
Okay. So I
believe we will, later this year, we're going to retool it, kind of get it better. We'll probably want to introduce that against the market later, but for right now, we're just focusing on FirstClose reports for refis, home equities, home improvement, second type lien loans.
Okay. And then for content purposes, then we won't link to that page if for some reason we're linking to other parts of your site. I'd say stay away from that page.
Yeah. I mean, unless Lee tells you differently, which at this point I think we're on the same page, I would leave anything First Look related completely out of it.
Okay.
It is the same data. It's pretty much the same data, but it's not really taking in the first purchase market right now. I don't think the market is ready for it.
And why do you say that?
The FirstClose report, we're selling them stuff they have to get that they're already getting. So in that sense, we're not trying to make them pay more money or get additional things that they're not already getting. The first look report is something that they don't have to get. Compliance doesn't require it. Regulation doesn't require it. It's not in the market yet. We're the only ones trying to do this. We're trying to convince them to buy something else and spend more money for something that they don't need for compliance and they don't get right now.
Okay.
And they're just not, we're trying to convince them to spend more money for something that's not required.
Okay.
And they just don't want to, from what we found.
Yeah. And then back to the FirstClose report, the first CTA call to action that I'm seeing here is get started, and it's a form fill. Typically, is that the message, or is that the first interaction that you would like your visitors to take to fill out this form and to get in touch with you? Is there something else that you guys would like visitors to your site to do?
No, this is it. We want them to go here and click that get started.
Okay. And then
what then we have their information.
Fills out. Yeah.
When they fill out this form, they go into our Pardot marketing database and we start marketing to them. And we also call them usually within a couple of hours to schedule a demo with me like this.
Okay.
So usually we'll call them and get them on a demo. If they don't answer, they don't respond to this, we start marketing to them. And then we have them in our database.
Have you ever directly just sent a first message of schedule a demo?
As far as what? SMS, like from...
Yeah, as far as the content that you've put together. So like within a blog, would it make sense after talking about the FirstClose report at the end of it to say, reach out to schedule a demo?
Absolutely. I would link it directly to this page and say, and even like, you know, me personally, I don't like reach out to schedule a demo. It's like, request a free report or something. You know, nobody likes the word demo or nobody likes the word webinar because it's like, oh God, we're busy. That's so much. But, you know, request a free, click here to request a free report or something like that.
I like the word report as well because it says.
Yeah, and I always give them free reports. So then they'll be like, oh yeah, I'll get a free report.
Yeah. It definitely promises more, so I like the word report.
Then like, hey, give me an hour of your time for a webinar.
Right, right. Okay. Any other questions on the line?
Yeah, I have a question. This is Lisa. What is like the typical timeline, I guess, from when you get a prospective client into the sales process? I know you mentioned that this is pretty customizable, but is there sort of a timeline
we usually
that people either have or request?
Well, the sales cycle alone is anywhere from about 4 months to a year. And then once we're past the sales cycle, implementation and development takes about 1 to 2 months.
Okay.
So once they come here, it takes us about a year. But we don't really want to say that to them. We don't really tout that up in the front in the beginning.
Right.
Okay.
And the free sample, request a free FirstClose first look report. What is that? All the way at the bottom here.
It just takes them to that form.
And what are they
then when
getting?
You'll have to ask Lee. I don't know if she sends an automated email when they send this out. I think it's usually they get a call. And then on the call, they'll set them a date and time with me and just tell them that I need the information to run their report.
Okay.
And then I go through all this with them and ask them which pieces they want.
Okay, so this is the same pretty much process of start here then. That's all.
Yeah. The goal, like everything that we do, the goal is to get them on the phone with me. But I don't know what, she may send out an automated email from this. I don't know, actually. I've never even clicked on this website, honestly.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely ask her for that because I'd be interested to see what that free sample looks like,
Yeah,
if it would be useful
she
to
might be
what we're
sending
doing.
them. Yeah, she might be sending them that one that I kind of clicked through.
Mhm.
She might send them this in an automated email.
Okay.
I don't think so. They've never mentioned it to me, but I don't really think that they're getting anything when they fill that out except like a phone call
Okay.
saying, hey, what date and time do you want to schedule a call so we can get you your free report?
And what is typically the first? What's the first conversation like? So after someone fills out this form, you get on the phone with them. Are they usually just from the people that you've spoken with who are specifically from the website? The people that are on the phone with you, the first conversation, are they super interested? Are they still a little bit confused? Do they need more information? Just so that we know what that interaction is like, and if we need to be pushing more information out so that it's more clear what they're doing.
So the first phone call actually comes from our lead generation team to pre-qualify them. A lot of people that fill this out aren't even qualified as far as they have to offer home equities. We like them to be in a certain asset size, things like that. So the first phone call is we're just calling them to see who they are and what they're looking for and to qualify them. I would say that they're almost they're only qualified maybe 50% of the time, but they always are interested and they always understand it. I don't think there's ever any confusion as to what it is that they've requested or signed up for.
Mhm. Okay. I think those were all my questions. Do we have any other questions on the line? Or Amanda, do you have any questions for us?
These are, so anybody listed on here under clients can be used, their names can be used. And then anybody, I thought we had here's a list of our vendors.
Mm-hmm.
You can always reference these vendors or clients in any marketing.
Okay, that's good.
I guess the only question that I have in thinking about for when we do start developing content and audience, even though I think it's pretty clear cut, and this is probably more a question for Lee or Sarah, but you mentioned that it's the lending managers and who typically come to you for the initial demo, like those are the decision makers. But once the technology is actually being used and things switch over to an account manager, does that change, or do you have any insight then into that part of the process and who's really using this software day to day?
It is always processors and underwriters.
Okay.
So it's the processors and underwriters using the system, but it's their direct manager choosing to buy this for them.
Okay.
Very, very rarely do we ever get VP of lending is another good one, or SVP of lending. Anything like manager of lending, director of lending, VP of lending, that is always our decision maker. 99% of the time, and it is always underwriters and processors using the system.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, Amanda, I have one other question on the back of that. You referenced that the system's customizable based on, I guess, the underwriting guidelines and/or compliance stipulations. Is there anyone that you guys couldn't customize for based on some of the products, like a non-qualified mortgage product that they were offering, or is pretty much anything possible?
Anything is possible, because worst case scenario, we will load in the exact same thing they're buying right now from the exact same vendor they're getting it from right now.
Okay.
And they're always getting this. They have to have title, valuation, and flood on every single loan. So they are currently doing this, and worst case scenario, we'll give it to them all in one place instead of logging into 3 places.
Gotcha. Good to know. Thank you.
Now, if they don't offer loans yet at all, like if it's a brand new startup, we usually won't take them because we like to have current volume. So that's what we're really qualifying. A lot of people will reach out and be like, I want to start offering home equities. Like, we don't charge any setup or integration fees or anything. So it's free for us to build the system. And unless you're going to give us volume instantly, it's not worth our time. So we're qualifying them just to make sure that they do this currently. But as long as they do this currently, we can load in exactly what they're buying right now.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense, and an important distinction to note.
Yes. So we don't ever want to market like, hey, start doing home equities. Like, we don't want to convince them to get into this type of market. We want current lenders that are doing it.
All right, and one last question from me, and this might already be in our shared folder, so I definitely need to double check. But you did show clients that were able to mention in stuff that we're writing, but do you have specific quotes that you feel would be good to share within content that we're creating? Or, well, yeah, I guess those would be really good. And we can just pull snippets.
Yeah, she has. And there's some down here. They used to scroll, but she has a bunch of quotes from clients that can be used.
Okay, awesome. Those were all of my questions. And if there aren't any other questions on the line, Amanda, do you have any other final comments, questions?
No, I'll send out these kind of things that I showed you guys today that you can have. And then, I mean, if you think of any other questions, just get with Lee and she'll pass it over to me. I'm always happy to get on the line and go through anything additional or answer any other questions you guys have.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today. We definitely appreciate it. This has been insightful, and we're definitely excited to get some content pieces going. I thought Lee was going to be on the call, but we definitely want to schedule a follow-up where we'll review the delivery plan. So
okay.
I'll probably just send a recap, or I'll probably just send a follow-up from our call so that we can go ahead and schedule that delivery call, and we can talk through content ideas that we have and then go from there.
Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You guys have a wonderful rest of the day.
You too.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.